Today, we're conducting something of a forensic investigation. We're going to dissect one of the most common, yet, deeply corrosive dynamics in the modern workplace. It's this invisible system of control that just erodes talent and suffocates potential. I bet a lot of us have felt its effects, but very few can actually name the architecture of the trap. So today, we're putting it under the microscope. Okay, let's just dive right into this paradox because it's a big one. The whole mythology of work tells us that being indispensable, well, that's the ultimate sign of your value. But what if that indispensability isn't a badge of honor? What if it's actually a massive red flag? What if the leader who seems like the central pillar holding everything up is in fact the one who engineered the building's weakness in the first place? So here's our roadmap for this whole deep dive. We're going to start with the paradox itself. Then we'll look at its primary victim, who I call the questioning ghost. From there, we'll dissect the four-stage architecture of the trap, get into the deep psychology that powers it, and then finally, we'll lay out a tactical escape plan. All right, part 1, the indispensability paradox. This is where we unmask a dynamic that, on the surface, looks like strong leadership, but is really, in reality, a pretty sophisticated system of control. This is the brutal, core truth of the whole thing. When a team can't function, can't make minor decisions, without its leader's constant input, that's not a high-performing team. It's basically a collection of individuals tethered to a single point of failure. The leader's constant involvement isn't support. No, it's a system of induced incompetence, and it's engineered, whether they know it or not, to protect their own status and make sure they never, ever become obsolete. And this brings us to our central concept, the dependence loop. Now, it's absolutely critical to understand that this is not an accident. It's not just a case of poor management, it's an engineered system. It's a set of deliberate tactics that are designed to maintain control by basically arresting the professional development of the very people that leader is supposed to be empowering. Okay, so now let's turn to the casualty of this system. Who pays the highest price for this leader's need for control? Well, it's often the most capable person on the team, the one who gets reduced from a strategic thinker to just a shadow of their former self. Think about this person for a second. You've probably seen it happen. A sharp, ambitious professional gets hired. They're decisive, they have initiative. Fast forward 6 months and they've become what I call a questioning ghost. They are terrified of making a mistake. Every single minor email has their boss CC'd. They wait days for a simple approval that should take, 5 minutes? The very strategic edge they were hired for, it's just gone. It's evaporated. Their agency, their fundamental ability to act and make decisions, it's been captured. And the cost to the organization? It's immense. Instead of looking out at the market for opportunities and threats, the whole team is now just looking at the boss's face for clues. And the result is what you'd call strategic atrophy. The entire unit becomes brittle, fragile, because its ability to get anything done is completely hostage to the availability and the approval of one single person. So how is this trap actually built? This isn't random. It's a carefully constructed 4-stage architecture, a system designed to methodically strip a team of its autonomy and transfer all of it to the leader. These are the 4 pillars. This is the architecture of the dependence loop. Each stage just reinforces the others, creating this powerful system of psychological control that becomes almost invisible to the people who are caught inside it. It all starts with the approval anchor. The leader insists on reviewing everything. They'll frame it as mentorship or maintaining quality, but its real function is psychological. See, here's the leverage point. It establishes a core belief that no work is valid, no decision is real, until it has the leader's personal thumbprint on it. And that creates deference. Okay, so once that deference is established, the leader can deploy the next tactic, information sequestration. They become the only gatekeeper of critical information. They're the only one who talks to senior leadership, the only one who holds the key client relationship, and this creates what you'd call contextual blindness. The team is given a task, but they're not given the map. And if you don't have the map, what choice do you have but to constantly ask the leader for directions? Now, this next stage is subtle, but it is psychologically devastating. It's called surgical correction. A team member submits a piece of work that's excellent. It's 99% of the way there. And the leader makes these tiny, often totally subjective changes, rephrasing a sentence, changing a color from navy to midnight blue. You see, the message isn't about the work, it's about the worker. It says, you are incapable of finishing anything perfectly without me. And this is where the trap really closes, because it implants this persistent loop of self-doubt. And here it is, the final, kind of insidious twist that makes the whole loop self-perpetuating. A crisis inevitably hits. often because the team was too paralyzed by the first 3 stages to act decisively. The leader then swoops in, works late, makes the tough calls, and saves the day. This is the hero payoff. It provides this public justification for their tight control and their high status, reinforcing to everyone, including themselves, why they are so indispensable. So, we've mapped out the architecture, but the really crucial point is understanding the psychology behind it. I mean, this isn't just about process. It's about leveraging these deep-seated primal human drives that lock both the leader and the team into this destructive dance. So here you can see the 2 sides of the psychological coin, right? The team member's brain is what you'd call a metabolic miser. It's literally wired to conserve energy. It learns really fast that thinking independently often leads to the social pain of being corrected. So to avoid that pain and save energy, it just defaults to the safest path, learned helplessness. Just wait for instructions. Meanwhile, the leader's brain is getting rewarded. Being the fixer, being the hero, that provides a dopamine spike, an alpha hit, and they get addicted to this feeling of importance, all driven by a deep, deep fear of being replaced. And this is how control is maintained, right down at a neurological level. A team member shows initiative. The leader subtly punishes it with a correction. The team member's brain flags this as a social error, a threat to their standing in the group. So to stop the threat, the brain stops the behavior. The leader is effectively weaponizing one of our most fundamental human drivers, the need to belong. They're turning our desire for affiliation into a tool for compliance. It's wild. Okay, we've dissected the system, we've gone through the psychology. Now we're going to shift from analysis to application. If you find yourself caught in this loop, how do you break free? How do you tactically reclaim your own agency? This is the essential question, isn't it? And the answer is not to just declare war on your boss. A direct confrontation? That'll probably fail. The solution is way more strategic. You have to change the rules of the game you're being forced to play. This right here is the single most powerful countermeasure you have. It's the strategic shift. You have to transform yourself from a petitioner into an operator. See, a petitioner asks for permission. Is this okay? But an operator informs with justification. Hey, just for your awareness, I've executed X because our data shows Y, and that aligns with strategic goal Z. No action needed on your end unless you see a flaw in the logic. You see what that does? It shifts the psychological burden of proof from you to them. So here is the full tactical playbook. First, like we just discussed, execute that strategic shift in all your communications. Second, you have to engage in lateral mapping. The leader controls information vertically, so you have to build your network horizontally. Talk to your peers in other departments. Understand the bigger picture. Build your own map. Now, for any leaders who are listening, your goal has to be the exact opposite of the micromanager. Aim for redundancy. Your job is to fire yourself from the daily operations of your team. And finally, if the loop is just too ingrained and the leader is too insecure to change, the only move left is the systemic exit. Go find an environment where your agency is a requirement, not a threat. And this really is the ultimate principle, isn't it? The most needed leaders are usually the ones in charge of the most fragile systems. True leadership, real mastery, is not about making yourself the hero. It's about building a team, a culture, a system that not only survives when you're gone, but actually thrives in your absence, because you have successfully made your wisdom scalable. So, I'll leave you with this final mental weapon. A leader who is the only oxygen in the room makes everyone dependent and eventually suffocates them. But a leader who creates the atmosphere, the culture of trust, the conditions for psychological safety, the context for success, that leader allows everyone to breathe, to grow, and to perform at their absolute peak. So the question you have to ask is, which one are you? And maybe more importantly, which one do you work for?